The world is watching the standoff between Pakistan and India as fear mounts over the possibility of an all-out conflict between the neighboring nations, each with its own nuclear weapons. India launched strikes deep within Pakistan overnight, saying that they were targeting terrorists. Pakistan's prime minister described the Indian strikes as an act of war. Pakistani leaders say at least 31 people have been killed. They also claim Pakistani armed forces blew Indian jets to, quote, smithereens. India has not confirmed whether any of its planes were shot down, although French intelligence confirms at least one was shot down. Indian officials say Pakistan's military killed 12 people in the India-controlled part of Kashmir as artillery barrages continued throughout the day along the de facto border, the very same place that sparked this latest conflict. So how did we get here? Well, 2 weeks ago, 26 people, mostly tourists, were massacred in a scenic area of India-controlled Kashmir. The little-known group called Kashmir Resistance, also known as the Resistance Front, claimed responsibility for the attack on social media, but it has reportedly since walked it back. The group is an offshoot of the Islamist terrorist group Lashkar-e-Taiba, which was responsible for the infamous 2008 massacre in Mumbai. Now, Pakistan has denied that India's accusation is true, that it supported, quote, cross-border terrorism in last month's attack. But for more context, let's look at the map. Hindu-majority India and Muslim-majority Pakistan each control parts of Kashmir, but both claim the region in its entirety. And they fought 3 bloody wars over the Himalayan territory. The complicated history of this region dates back 80 years, when India and Pakistan gained independence from the UK in 1947. At the time, the leader of Kashmir decided to remain independent. And Kashmir is now one of the most militarized places in the entire world. China, for its part, has found itself in a diplomatic tight spot too. China also controls a portion of Kashmir, that spot on the map shaded in blue, and China is a close ally of Pakistan, providing a majority of Pakistan's weapons. All of this comes as China is also trying to shore up diplomatic ties with India amid a broader pressure from the Trump administration on trade. This afternoon, President Trump weighed in on this conflict. Take a listen.
We get along with both countries very well, good relationships with both, and I want to see it stop. And if I can do anything to help, I will be there.
Meanwhile, across India today, hundreds of emergency drills took on a more urgent tone. School children practiced hiding under their desks as sirens wailed. Preparation, many hope, is reserved for the worst-case scenario and will never be necessary.
Pakistan is vowing revenge after India launched a series of airstrikes, claiming it was targeting terrorist infrastructure. India says the assault was in response to last month's deadly shooting rampage inside the disputed border region of Kashmir. Dozens of mostly Indian tourists were killed in that attack. Pakistan has denied any involvement. Fears, though, are mounting that today's attack could severely escalate tensions. This afternoon, Pakistan's prime minister said India made a terrible mistake and went on to say they, quote, now have to pay the price. World leaders have been urging both sides to de-escalate. Joining me now to discuss, Leon Panetta. He's former defense secretary, of course, former CIA director as well, under President Obama. Always good to have you with us as we walk through this. What I think is on a lot of people's minds is the fact that both India and Pakistan do have nuclear capabilities. What is your level of concern that either would turn to those?
Well, it obviously is a concern because they are nuclear-powered countries, and you never know how this thing could escalate. There have always been tensions between India and Pakistan. They go back to 1947, when India was partitioned into India and Pakistan. There have been several wars that we've seen take place in the interim. I don't think either Pakistan or India wants to go into a full-fledged war. But when you're in a game of tit for tat, and there's no question now that Pakistan will probably respond to what India did, there is truly the danger of escalation here, and that should concern everybody in the world.
As we look at this, President Trump has called this escalating conflict, in his words, a shame. He said he just hopes that it ends very quickly. Just remind us what the role of the U.S. has been right, when it comes to this sort of long festering conflict and concerns over this region of Kashmir, and also whether you see any circumstance under which America would intervene in any way.
Well, the United States has played a role in that part of the world. When I was director of the CIA, there were tensions that were rising between Pakistan and India, and the United States took steps to try to get both countries to be able to back off, because we do think that area of the world is important. And so the United States should be providing some kind of mediation. China has also called for both countries to back off. Qatar actually could also be helpful as well. I think that those countries, and the United States in particular, have to play a role here, because both Pakistan and India would respond if the United States got involved and said, you've got to stop, you've got to be able to back off of the kind of escalation that could lead to war in that region.
Do you think there is an appetite for that? And also, is there the bandwidth, given what we see, right, in terms of the number of global issues, if you will, that this administration is dealing with, under a president, too, who has made it clear that he wants to back off some of that global involvement and truly fulfill his vision of America first?
Well, that's a very fundamental question about whether or not the role of the United States is going to continue to be a world leader, or whether we're basically going to withdraw. The problem is in withdrawing, these dangers to our security are not going to disappear. And we are living at a dangerous time. We've got a war in Gaza. We've got a war in Ukraine. We've got conflicts both with Russia and China. We've got to worry about North Korea. We've got to worry about Iran. So there are a lot of areas of conflict in the world. I don't think the United States can run and hide from those conflicts. We have got to exercise some leadership, frankly, working with our allies to try to make sure that we can try to preserve the peace that the whole world needs as a result of these kinds of tensions. So my hope is that the United States will not back away. This is not a pretty please situation. This is a situation where you got to roll up your sleeves and actually engage with both India and Pakistan if you're going to be able to control these rising tensions.
Mr. Secretary, always appreciate your time and your insight. Thank you.